Welcome to the Ripple Effect podcast, where we highlight leaders, organizations, and change makers creating meaningful impact in their communities. Through authentic conversations, we explore leadership, purpose, challenges, hope, and the ripple effects that happen when people commit to making a difference. We're your hosts, Brittany Wayman and Traver, and we're so glad you're here.
Each episode invites you into real stories from people doing meaningful work in the world, people leading with courage, compassion, and vision in ways that often create impact far beyond what they conceive. Whether you're a nonprofit leader, an entrepreneur, community advocate, educator, or simply someone who wants to make a difference, this space is for you. So take a deep breath, lean in, and join us as we explore the power of everyday impact and the ripple effects that begin when people show up for their communities. Let's dive in. We are so excited to have Miss Alice Watson from Indiana Black Expo on the podcast today. So welcome. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you guys for having me. Congratulations on what you're doing.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As we jump in, we'd love to hear a little bit about you and the work that you do at Indiana Black Expo.
Oh boy, about me. So I leaned into this world of nonprofit. I don't know if it was by mistake or by convention or what it was, but I actually came from corporate America. I worked for Panasonic Corporation, worked for Thompson Consumer Electronics as a national sales account manager, and then did some marketing and things with Thompson. But it's been a very interesting journey. It is not what I signed up to do. I actually am a criminal justice major.
No way.
School of Public and Environmental Affairs of IU.
Oh my gosh. Go Hoosiers. National championship,
yes,
everybody.
I shouldn't wear my hat.
That's right.
But,
I got a pin somewhere.
Yeah. Now, back in my day, it was basketball, not football. In football, we weren't wearing hats to represent. We were wearing the brown paper bags. But I'm so excited about what we're doing as an alumni at IU. But yes. I then just kind of journeyed on. I was the deputy commissioner of minority and women businesses, and then I landed in this nonprofit world. And have been doing this for 15 years in the nonprofit space. I think this is my fourth year as the president of the organization. Lots going on, lots of changes as we navigate this whole new norm, but really excited about giving back to the community.
Tell us a little bit more about the heart of your work, specifically with Indiana Black Expo.
It's very interesting because people think of us as summer celebration and Circle City Classic. The organization, of course, has been around since the 70s. And the whole vision of this organization, which was, quite frankly, the vision of women, and no one ever talks about the women who actually went to visit Operation Breadbasket back in the day and came back with this vision, and our founders, the men, executed the vision. That's how it is in this world, right? The women, we have the minds.
Who runs the
yes, it's the women. But it was all about highlighting the excellence of Black businesses, quite frankly, showcasing what we do. And then, of course, we also added a component with our Youth Video Institute. But the whole mission was to be an advocate and the voice and vehicle of African Americans, showcasing excellence, celebrating the excellence within, with community engagement, which was summer celebration. And then we added the other component, which was the Circle City Classic in 1984. And that was to really bring HBCUs to the Midwest to showcase HBCUs for youth and families. And we've grown since then over the years. Now we're more intentional with the businesses. In particular, now we've got, of course, our Black Business Training Institute. There's a story behind that. Soul Care Coaching.
Alumni from the BBTI.
Yes. So taking a deeper dive and supporting businesses in the community. We've expanded from a Youth Video Institute to a Youth Media Institute to a Performing Arts Academy. So really just taking a deeper dive into the mission of the organization. We're a statewide organization. So we have 12 chapters across the state of Indiana.
Wow. Wow, that's in a lot of counties.
It's in a lot of counties, absolutely. They're little mini Indiana Black Expos. Actually, we also have an Indianapolis chapter who is here in Indianapolis, but they're volunteers who just do the work that is needed within their communities in the chapter cities.
Love hearing that you guys really impact the generations of people, from the youth to the entrepreneurs to bringing in young adults that are, attending HBCUs as well. So it seems like a generational impact as well, which is really cool to see.
Yeah. And what we've done is, as we've grown in our mission, not necessarily in our physical presence, although we went from a 4,500 square foot building to a 45,000 square foot building over on the east side, because we felt like that was where the greatest need was. But quite frankly, we're almost doing the same thing. We're just doing it with more intentionality. We look at our programming. We're a year-round organization.
Yes.
We don't just do those two events. We do programming, because what we found, and what you see even when you look at corporate America, is focuses now on community responsibilities, right? Which is where initiatives, where you see a lot of companies now who have foundations and things like that, are really leaning more onto the programmatic side versus the entertainment or the branding. I mean, of course, there's a branding presence, but a lot of companies are really more focused on community responsibilities. And that's what we do. That's where we come in. With everything that we do, there's a programmatic component. Even in summer celebration, we have our youth leadership summit. We have our business conference. We have our education conference. So we do a lot of programming within the events. We call it partying with a purpose.
Oh yeah, I love that.
That's what we do. We party with a purpose within our events, but then we do the events throughout the programming throughout the year.
Good deal.
Awesome. For you, what does success look like for your organization beyond numbers and metrics?
Success for us as an organization is really more of seeing the results of the work that we've poured into other folks. Like when I think about you, Brittany, Soul Care Coaching, we have GERT Enterprise, which was one of our original Youth Video Institute students. Folks don't realize that Scott Evans of Entertainment Tonight actually came through our program.
Wow.
So when we think of success, it's just seeing just a little bit of what we've done, that we've made a difference in someone's lives. We do our coronation every year, and we say it's not a pageant. It's really a leadership program, 12 weeks where we work with young ladies. We've got 17 who will be going through Circle City Classic.
Awesome.
They're engineers now. They're lawyers. They're a part of the media industry. Lindsay Davis, who I don't know.
Oh yes,
Lindsay.
She's on national news now.
Yes, and she went through our coronation.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
It's really seeing the work when we see individuals who will come back and say, "Hey, I went through your program." And I'm just doing phenomenal work now. And I think for us, when you're in the nonprofit space, it's that part.
Yeah.
The part that a lot of folks don't see. That is what success really looks like for us. When we have a student who comes up and says, because of the work or because I participated in one of the programs, look at who I am today.
Yeah.
And they come back and they acknowledge that.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more, because you mentioned Lindsay Davis and you mentioned some others who've gone through some of the youth program portions that you offer. Can you tell us some more stories about the ripple effect? That's obviously the whole name of our podcast. I would love to hear some stories about the ripple effect of people that have gone through some of the programs that you've offered and seeing the success. Because as you mentioned, sometimes in those nonprofit spaces, you can see that immediate need that's being met, but you may not ever get to see the fruit of it as it multiplies and as those people continue to grow and develop in their skill set years down the line. So tell us some stories about the ripple effect.
Well, it's very interesting because we did a couple of programs through the IAAQLI initiative.
Absolutely. Tell us what that. Can you give us the acronym for those that don't know?
What is it? The Indianapolis African American Quality of Life Initiative.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I was like, we'll figure it out together.
There's all these acronyms, but we did a couple of programs that's really near and dear to my heart. I mean, not that actually was part of the Black Business Training Institute also. And a lot of those businesses, you got Denola Burton who went through
Yes.
that.
She just texted me today. Hey, no, don't
But you know, I mean, and they come back.
Yes.
And, Trezenay,
Yes.
Trezenay Law, who comes back and supports the businesses, and just seeing the kind of the what is that? The I guess you guys are all alumni, right? And seeing the support of each other, and being supportive and pulling each other out to take those skills and apply them. I may be an attorney, let me help you with trademark.
Yes.
I may be on the marketing side, let me help you with the marketing. So to me, that's that whole ripple effect. When I look at it on the youth side, we did an initiative that was called 1 Month is Not Enough. And the initiative was really teaching our Performing Arts Academy youth about the history inside of really Indianapolis. And so we did something where we brought in legends to speak to that. And one was Barbara Ford. Of course, she talked to the kids about her journey.
Yes.
As the first Black news.
Yes, I remember Miss Barbara Ford.
Yes, in Indianapolis. And so the kids were very mesmerized. Here's a personal story. I didn't even realize it. So what it was, 688, the movie.
Yes.
So that was a part of it. Again, this was a whole docu-series, if you will, a documentary where the kids could hear about the history and then talk about how that felt for them. So we brought in someone, and again, such a small world. When that movie came out, I didn't realize that I had a personal relationship with one of those women.
Really?
Yes. Aunt Willeen.
Okay.
And it was so weird because we actually had my cousin, and this is on my brother's side. Aunt Willeen was like an aunt who was one of my mom's best friends. We never knew that she was one of those women.
Wow.
Because she was a Mormon. And so she never spoke about her experience.
How interesting.
Going through. It was so bizarre. So we brought my cousin to speak to the kids.
Wow.
And she had all of her memorabilia. I didn't know. I mean, I grew up with this woman and didn't realize it, and it's because she never talked about it.
Wow.
And so we brought in storytellers to talk to the kids about the history. We did the kids did the walk on the avenue.
Oh yes, with Samson Levinson. Yes, through Two Lies.
Yes. So these kids they went through this whole journey. And then they talked about it, you know, and there was this whole, how did you feel about all of these folks Gary Holland, who also was one of the gentlemen, we had B. Swift, someone to talk to them about his journey. And we did a film on it. And so then we showed that film throughout. We sent it to educators. But we had an MLK Day last year, and we showed it. And the parents and the people who saw this film, we showed it in our building, were completely mesmerized. They didn't realize what the kids had been doing.
Okay.
It's that whole effect of the kids actually going through this journey, and then the parents experiencing the journey with the kid through film. So lots of
so cool.
Lots of things that, again, it's like if you pour in, you hope that they pour in. No matter whether it's generational or whatever it is.
And so interesting. There's so much living history in Indianapolis. And that's what I love about Samson's tours. It's like, oh my gosh, there's so much beautiful history. Walking down the avenue, just getting out of your car and walking. So I love that the students and youth got to experience that. And then the oral history of it. Because oftentimes, at least I feel with my family, sometimes there are some painful parts of the history that they may not necessarily share. But if you get them in the right spot and in the right area, they may be willing to be like, okay, yeah, like this did happen, and let me tell you about this. And so sometimes we lose those stories through the generations because, people don't share for whatever reason.
Yes. Or we don't see it. I saw it, the tour, through the eyes of the kids.
Yeah.
You know, I've not been on the tour, but I'm watching this tour. Again, I'm watching the film, and it's like, wow, this is something. I want to do the tour myself. So again, when you talk about that whole ripple effect, it's like now I want to take that walking tour because it's so much history. And I'm not originally from Indianapolis, but I had an aunt who lived in the Hallville area.
Wow.
So I kind of experienced it as a kid when I would visit, but the history of it, I didn't know about. I didn't realize that when I was walking on the avenue, I was walking through history.
Yeah. Indeed. That's a whole line right there. Woo!
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's so good.
And walking through history is needed for the generations like you're talking about, but also that's an I didn't grow up in Indianapolis either. I didn't grow up in Indiana, but living in a space, in a place where that history is there and coming in, one, as an outsider, not being from here, two, as an outsider racially, and knowing and learning the things that those who lived here before me, doesn't matter who they were and who they are now, but the impact that that can have, that I think we all need.
Oh, we all need it, absolutely. And again, it's like you don't realize when we speak of walking in history, because I went to, of course, IU Bloomington, and I would come to Circle City Classic. I would come to Summer Celebration. I didn't know what the mission or the vision was. I was a college student just coming to party.
Right,
Absolutely.
Just coming to have fun, not realizing, again, you're living in history. And a lot of times we don't call that out, that you're actually living in it. And it makes you appreciate it more.
Absolutely.
Certainly as I've worked with Expo, and I understand the history and the reason behind the why, it makes it so much more meaningful for me.
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Man. When we think of challenges and growth within the organization, but even for yourself, this question comes to mind. What has growth required you to let go of?
Oh boy, I've been reading the news about me. It's not easy. I mean, a lot of times, again, let's talk about history. People have ingrained ideas about perception of what they perceive an organization to be and the meaning behind them. And it's very difficult to live in that perception because times change, needs change, reasons change. And sometimes you have to make very difficult decisions. A lot of folks personalize it. I mean, this is a personal journey for them, and they feel like you're killing their journey. And you really aren't. You're adjusting to the needs to sustain the mission and the vision. And there's a lot of times that you have to be willing to take that, pull those covers off, and make the changes that are necessary, not only from a sustainability standpoint, but to be more impactful and more meaning. And I think that that's the difficult part about being a leader. Even it's like sometimes the decisions that you make aren't popular decisions, and people don't really, quite frankly, care about the reason, because you're killing their vision of what they think it should be. But those are the tough ones. Very difficult to make those changes, and we've had to make changes. Again, we're not promoters. We're event planners only for a reason, and only for a period of time, and only for a season. If we continue to walk in the path of what the forefathers envisioned, we've had to make very difficult changes, but they're meaningful changes. Again, we're more programmatic than what the community may know or care about. But that's because there was a need. The need is greater for our community. So, you have to make the tough pivot, the tough decisions, and they're not always the most popular.
That makes sense, because when I think of IBE, I think of just the things in the summer. And so to hear the programmatic side of it, and knowing Brittany's gone through stuff, and we've got another gal that has gone through some of your programs as well, and getting to know them, well, knowing you before, but getting to know Tisha and hearing the experience of Brittany as well has opened my eyes. It's not just an event during the summer that happens a couple of weeks out of the year. And that's really cool to hear. What has been one of the hardest seasons, and what did it or what is it teaching, or has it taught you?
I think that 2025, and even I'm more encouraged in 2026, not because of the political climate, but because of what we believe needs to be done and we can do with the resources that we have. But 2025 was very difficult because we lost a significant amount of money. We lost it from partners that we never thought we would lose it from. I mean, we're a victim of, for instance, DEI. And these are just factual, not whining. We've got to push through it. But, we were one of the largest, probably Black companies with the state organizations as far as partnerships. way before even my time. I mean, the founding forefathers again were partners with the state of Indiana, and we lost a significant amount of money because of DEI.
Yeah.
Right, and that which was like shocking. I mean, it was coming down, but it's like, when did we become a part of DEI?
Yeah.
We've been partners for years, and we lost funding from some of our corporate partners that we had been partners with for years. So, kind of a gut punch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it accelerated some decisions that we were making, like for instance with Classic, because we realized that even with Classic, attendance was trending down. The way that alumni traveled was different. We went from, we were one of the originals in the Midwest with Circle City Classic, and we could see it over years, the transformation, because there's now 27 classics. So we're like, okay, let's take our time and figure out how can we strategically still serve the mission, the intentionality of what Classic was about, which was exposing youth to post-secondary opportunities. And it's like, let's figure out a way to do that differently, because we can't compete in that space anymore. The promoters against us as a nonprofit, it just was very difficult. The value of teams, kudos to them, and I say that I'm glad that HBCUs were getting paid for what they justly deserved to get paid for. Bands were becoming huge and popular. So we thought we had more time to really do the analytics and the data to okay, how do we figure out a way to pivot? But then DEI happened,
right,
and the funding was going away, and we said, you know what, we can do this in a different way. We could be more creative. Let's have the kids inside of Lucas Oil. Let's bring more kids in. Our programming with our Education Day, College Fair was growing. So let's bring in more kids and expose them to HBCUs. I mean, great idea. So we're doing that in 2026.
Awesome.
So it forced us to do something probably that we would have dragged on a little bit longer.
Sure, that makes sense.
Lost more money. So 2025 was a tough year, but it's I'm very spiritual. Tough times make you grow, and you just gotta pray on it and move forward and figure out how to be more creative in what you do. And so we are focusing more on our programs. Events are great. Even on the event side, there's a lot of competition. I mean, you see in Indianapolis, a lot more options. Everyone's building event centers. Everyone is bringing in artists. Artists are costing much more money. So at some point, you've got to figure out what is your real purpose, not only just from a nonprofit standpoint, but in life. What is your real purpose, and how do you achieve the real purpose creatively? So 2025, I would say, was tough. 2026 is hopeful.
Okay. All right. We got a new word.
Yes.
2026.
Awesome.
Okay.
2026 is hopeful.
Yes.
Yes.
So speaking of that, of like coming out of 2025 and, we're right in the middle of 2026, the landscape has changed a lot. So you've kind of had to be creative, you've had to pivot a little bit, you've had to think outside the box a little bit, and you've had to make some decisions that may not have been popular, but were necessary.
Yes.
So how do you sustain yourself? How do you take care of yourself as a leader in the midst of everything that's going on, between the pressures of life, the pace, the patterns that you're running, and how do you take care of you?
Wow, I don't know. I gotta figure that out, Brittany. We should talk later.
You know what I'm
So
saying.
you're coaching. It's interesting, because I think that you almost have to go back to the old days, right? Of tuning out the technology of noise.
Yeah.
Right? So what I do is I try to tune that out. I try to stay laser focused on what the whole purpose of my life is, the purpose of the work that I do. And I try to tune out the negative noise.
That's right.
And absorb the positive noise. And a lot of times, again, noise can be feeling, it can be visual, it can be sight. But, we go back to talking about what drives me?
Yeah.
How do I measure success? And I measure it by the work that we we do to the people that we touch.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I tune out the noise. My husband says I need to spend more time on self-care, which I'm focused on trying to do a better job at, because I think you have to care for yourself also. And at the end of the day, this will segue to someone else. And so I want to be able to be around to enjoy the rest of what I have in life. But really, it's tuning out the negative noise and focusing on the positive of what we do.
And it's important, I feel like, to remember, like you said, to take out those things that are negative that can get us in like a spiral, right? Whether it's a fear spiral or like, what do they think about me spiral? You know what I mean? You mentioned earlier, like, what have you read about me? You know what I mean? So it's like getting out of that mindset into like, what is true about me? What are the things that are positive? And what are the things that light my soul on fire, that get me out of bed every morning? And remembering our why. Remembering, why do I do the things that I do? Why do I get out of bed and drive all the way to the east side every morning? It's because I want to support the programming. I want to support the youth. I want to support the community in what we're doing, because this mission that we have, it matters. It's making changes. You just shared all these stories earlier about people's lives that have been changed because of the programs that you've had. And that's the ripple effect that we want to have in the community is, hey, there's this organization. They're doing programming with youth. They're doing program with entrepreneurs. They're doing program with educators. And look at the ripple effect that that is having on the community. So that's like how we have to remember is, okay, this is why I'm doing it. You just quiet the noise. Quiet the noise. That's out there.
Yes. I mean, I think it's key that, again, I tell people, it's like, I do a self-assessment and a self-check of myself at the end of the day. Who did I touch? Who did I offend?
Good.
Wow, so good.
How did I carry out what God would have me to do? And when I lay down at sleep, I have to ask myself, and if I offended someone, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to treat them differently. So really, I try to do did I do the right thing? Was the decision that I made, was it a decision based off of my personal gratification, or was it a decision that I made because it was what I was led to do for the ultimate goal of why we are here on earth? And it's really a personal assessment, a journey, because I think that, again, if you're not in a space that you can't measure yourself personally, then you should figure out the why, where are the gaps in yourself.
So tell us about how, again, in this season, how do you continue to lead with integrity and impact? You mentioned that self-assessment. What other tools, what other hacks do you have to make sure that you're leading with integrity and impact?
Well, I try to check myself. I mean, I really do. I grew up in where my whole Sunday was church. My
church basement.
Was church.
Church basement.
It was breakfast, lunch, dinner. And I actually couldn't believe it. It's like I didn't realize that was who I was until I got older. When you're in school and college, it's like, I'm not doing any of that. And then I realized I needed that, right? I needed that because that was really who I was. So, I mean, I think that, again, I check myself, I measure myself on what God would have me to be and have me to do. And I really believe that you've got to treat people the way that you want to be treated. And if I'm not doing that, when you talk about integrity, and it's so funny, I've got a story about saying I couldn't make something right. It's like, oh no, I can't make that. I'm busy or whatever. And it was like, oh no, we're going to be here long enough where you can make it. So it's like, oh man, good for lying.
Got a whole window for it.
It's like, no, we got all day. You can come. So I try to tell myself those little nuggets. I teach myself, just be true to who you are. Be as honest as you can be. Be as forthcoming as you can be without offending others, right? Because sometimes it's better, what is that old saying, if you don't have anything good to say about anybody, just don't say anything at all. That's how I kind of try to live my life. And I feel bad if I don't do that at the end of the day. So I know I have my own self-integrity that I measure myself by. So it's an internal thing. And I'm flawed just like everyone else.
That's right.
So I'm certainly not perfect and don't pretend to be perfect, but try to be respectful of others
Yeah.
is really how I live my life.
Now that with the amount of people that you work with and you see every day, I'm sure it's like, ooh.
Oh, it's challenging. It really is challenging. But, the one thing is what my biggest struggle at times is if I don't feel that positive energy coming from others. It makes it very difficult to, you got to kind of leave that. There was a sermon that I heard once that said, ship ashore. You leave those people on the shore,
That's good.
positive people on the ship with you.
Yeah.
So that's really what I try to do.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Ship for
Awesome.
shore. I like that.
Yeah, I was sermon. I believe it was either an ecumenical service because we do an ecumenical service before summer celebration.
Okay.
Or it could have been the praise and prayer service, worship service. We do that before, but it was one of those sermons. And I play it all the time. It's like ship ashore. Is this a person that I leave on the shore? Because if you put them on the ship, they may drag the ship down and drown.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
That's so good.
Got a whole sermon series right there.
It's not mine.
Well, and the applicability of that, obviously the context was in a sermon, but it's life.
Yes.
I mean, that's business, life. Yeah. So many ways that's applicable.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, even as a parent, caregiver, I'm like, I think I could use that tonight with my kids. I'm like, is that a short friend or a ship friend?
I actually used it with my daughter. It's like, okay, is that someone that you want on your ship or should
I'm using it tonight, okay?
But you can't ask that question of your kids. So
get on the shore.
Not literally, but
maybe at the moment you are being a shore person right now.
You're just gonna have to work harder on that ship. Because you can't leave them.
I'm actually going to put a couple questions together. What does meaningful collaboration look like for you? But also, how can others support you in the work and the mission that you're doing? So yes, those are two separate questions, but I think go hand in hand.
Yeah, that was another thing that we started.
And are they ship or shore people?
Well, you gotta.
We have to stop recording for this.
Sometimes you miss and sometimes you don't. But in 2025, we've tried to be more intentional in collaboration. As an example, when you talk about the ripple effect, right? So we've done a lot more collaboration. Starting in 2025, it was part of our 2020. At the end of 2022, we came out with our strategic plan. And when I took over this position, what I said is we've got to open our doors more. We've got to be more collaborative with other small organizations whose mission or programming aligns with us.
Yeah.
Because if you can collaborate, even as a big, it was so funny because there was an analogy in our assessment. We did a landscape assessment before, and we came up with this conversation with the consultant as we're delving into who we are. And what we said at that time is, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to go out and create more programming. Yeah. We just have to be better and more impactful in the existing program that we do. And we had this analogy, the consultant and I, and it's like, Indiana Black Expo is like this big old well in a sea, and you got a whole bunch of guppies who do the same thing. And because we're so big, we're not nimble. So we can't move around as so it's like, how do we take that analogy and figure out what do we do as this big whale, right? And it was, why don't we collaborate with some of the guppies, and again, not calling any other nonprofits guppies, but to figure out how we can own the sea. Yeah. So what we did is we've done more collaboration with other nonprofits whose mission aligns with ours. On the youth side, we're trying to work through that with some of the nonprofit businesses, again, with the initiative IAAQLI. There are a lot of other business development programs out there. So if there's a gap on what we do from a marketing standpoint on training, let's send our businesses to some of the other programs that are out there. So really, again, we're an advocate, we're a convener. So let's figure out how that we can convene or advocate for other organizations who provide the same services that align with ours. We did an initiative with our kids on mental health. Mental health is huge
So good.
now, particularly in our community.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
again, religion is great, but everything, the Lord wants you to do some stuff for yourself. And what we found is our kids are actually struggling
Yeah.
with mental health, and maybe because they've been told along the years, tough it up, it'll be okay. You know, wake up tomorrow and just get back at it.
Mhm.
And so we did a mental health initiative. We did one for caregivers on one side, and then we did one for the youth. But what we found is how do we touch as many youth as we can? We can invite them to our building, but they're all not necessarily going to come.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we did a partnership with Warren Central High School.
Wonderful.
Because it's like, okay, the kids are there. The first year we did it with their student athletes. And then it was like, oh man, this thing is really great. So let's open it up to more kids.
Mhm.
So last year we did it with Warren Central High School, and we invited all of their student athletes, not just the football kids, but all their student athletes. And we also invited Lawrence North.
Oh, wonderful.
So we had more youth, close to 300, I believe.
Wow.
But with that, we did something that a lot of other organizations can't do. We had Greg Oden.
Oh, wow. Yes.
He was our Major Taylor Award recipient the prior year. And then we had Antoine Bethea, Dr. Ledette. So we had this panel partnered with NAMI, which we have been doing again when you talk about collaboration and partnerships. And the kids were mesmerized, absolutely captivated with what these athletes were saying. Greg Oden has this incredible story, right? Of course, with his journey. So we had one kid who actually looked at his phone. No one else did. And Dr. Ledette called him out and said, hey, put your phone down. And so these kids, when you think about that many kids who are actually listening, absolutely listening on the discussions about mental health.
Wow.
Now I got another nugget for you. So Dr. Ledette said, because we also had some parents in there, he said, parents, your kids don't want you to talk to them when they're struggling mentally. If you sense that they are struggling, if they've got something going on, just listen. Don't say a word. Just listen to them. They don't want you to tell them what to do. They want you to listen to them. And I learned a lot on these journeys with the youth and the businesses and everything. But that was a huge collaboration when you think about, let's go to the school. Let's not invite them. Let's go to their space, a safe space. Let's partner with the school. Again, we have this huge partnership with NAMI on the mental health side because we're not the experts. That's the other thing about the beauty of collaboration. You don't have to be the expert. Our expertise is convening. You know, so let us be the convener. You be the experts to provide the services that are needed.
Wow,
that's so good. I love the partnerships with, and I also love going to them. You removed a barrier that could sometimes be an issue for people to get to places, to get to services, to get to the program that you offer. You're like, we're coming to you. So you don't have to worry about securing a bus or getting a ride. We're going to come right to you. So that's great. Tell us, we're going to get ready to wrap up, but tell the listeners, what is one way that a small action that they could take today that can create a ripple effect within their community?
I think it's sharing. When you ask, even for us, what we need is we need folks to know who we are, what we actually do. And I think that it is sharing positive services, positive work. It's just speaking the goodness of what is happening, because there's so much negative noise out in the community against social media. If it's not bad news, then no one wants to hear about it. It's really what the community can do, what listeners can do, is share. I sound like a pastor.
Come on,
preach. Share the good news. Share the good work. Share out positive work. For businesses, for organizations, for nonprofits. There's even some folks, everyone's not bad inside government. Share the strategies of how to be better.
Yeah, that's such good advice just to share, because I believe you're right. Oftentimes people get caught up in the negatives, right? And they want to read that and scroll through that and look at the comments and everything like that, as opposed to what else is going on? Is there more to the story? Can we share the positive story? Can someone share a mission minute of, hey, here's Lindsay Davis at 15. She was, in the Circle City coronation, and now look at her on the national news. So sharing those stories of impact, and even on social media, following you guys. And speaking of that, tell us how people can know a little bit more about Indiana Black Expo from a programming standpoint to upcoming events. Where can they find you on social media? All of that good stuff.
So, of course, we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
For the youth. Been on there.
For the youth.
Yes. For the youth. Yes, TikTok. That's what I'm going to say. I haven't been on there. Also, summercelebration.net.
Okay.
Which is coming up. And we've got some exciting things happening with summercelebration.net. So please check us out there. IndianaBlackExpo.com, which is where all of our programming would be, news about some of the things that we're doing. Please visit that. And of course, CircleCityClassic.com. But, we're everywhere that we can be. We just need the voices to shout it out.
And tell us the dates for Indiana Black Expo.
So it is July the 10th, I believe, if it's that Monday.
Okay.
July 19th.
Awesome. Yes. So it'll be 10 days.
It's 10 days. We kick off with, again, our ecumenical. We've got a huge, check out our site for all the entertainers who are coming. But it is 10 days, not only just celebration, but programming.
Absolutely. So check out Indiana Black Expo's website for the summer celebration information and Circle City Classic information as well. And then also on all the social media platforms, so you can see all the upcoming events, and go to their website, subscribe to their email, so that way you can get all of the updates via email as well. But Miss Alice Watson, we thank you so much for being on
so much.
This has been a pleasure. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Come back for the next episode.